This is so funny. It's like so professional. Okay, cut. So, action.
Action. Hey everyone, this is Perjan here. I'm a student of TISS, and we wanted to start a podcast where we can bring out the stories of various students at TISS. And over this podcast, hopefully, we will not talk about our course or the things that we do in our course, etc. No? And talk about how it's been for us coming to TISS and the life here at TISS, etc. And today, I have an interesting person with me today, Miss Suman here with me. Uh, let's explore her story today. What is it? What were the circumstances surrounding you making the decision to join TISS and you during that interview, etc. And all? Like, what happened? Tell us.
Yeah, so by the end of the bachelor's, everyone is like, half of them wants to do the job and half wants to pursue their studies. So I just want to continue my studies. That's the reason I looked for this. Like one of my friend told about me TISSNet and how the PIT. So somehow on the last day of TISSNet, I was able to register for TISSNet,
Oh,
and I was so clueless. What I mean to say is like I was so clueless at that time. But
actually, there are so many courses that TISS has.
yeah,
You know, that's it's quite confusing actually.
so I made the choice and went for TISSNet, and I don't know without studying how I cleared that TISSNet,
Huh.
because because it was considered to be, TISSNet is a big thing,
Huh, huh, huh.
but I don't know how I did that. Again, then the PIT it was released, but at that span something really sad experience happened to me. Like I lost
Okay.
my father before PIT and PI.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was just before like 10-15 days. In Feb, I lost my father, and it was difficult for me to, think about
Hmm,
my
hmm,
academics
hmm,
at
hmm,
that
hmm,
time,
hmm.
because the grief was like at its peak at that
Huh,
time.
huh, huh.
So, yeah, but somehow then I was like, I feel I'm always being practical with myself, so I thought
Okay.
like, which is gone can't come back,
Come back.
and
Huh.
it's irreversible, and anyway I have to move on. And then I thought about my family, like they don't want to see me, that sad and
Hmm, hmm,
everything.
hmm,
So that thing was there. So I came for my PITPI with my uncle for a day,
hmm, hmm.
and again like my eyes were like swollen and bad throat because of that
Ha,
crying and
ha, ha, ha.
everything. And I was worried about my PIT and PI. So in the flight for 2 hours
Hmm,
I got
hmm.
the time to study. So in the flight I was like reading my notes, definitions for PIT, what
Ha,
to be written.
ha.
Then that happened again. I gave my PIT and then came for my PI. And then so the, there like I was asked less about my academic things and more
Oh.
about my state and the kind of environment I come from.
Any interesting question that you remember from the PATPA?
Yeah, so like in my statement of purpose, or there's
Ha,
this
ha, ha,
biography
ha.
kind of thing which you need to write for your application. So I've written like my views about caste and gender, the kind of state I come. So based on that, one professor asked me about if are you coming from Haryana,
Hmm,
and now so things have changed much. Most of the girls
hmm,
in
hmm,
sports
hmm, hmm,
are from Haryana who are getting gold medals. What do you have to say about that? How you bring caste
hmm,
to
hmm,
that?
hmm, hmm.
So I was like, as I've mentioned in my SOP also, like how I stand for it, but then I have to literally unfold it for them. For example, I told them like I have a huge respect for all the sports girls they are doing, but what about the education? What are their educational qualifications?
Hmm.
And if for example there was on the first day on PI only I have to tell my caste to them to to justify things, right? I have to tell them like I come from a marginalized section. If my father would have taken such kind of steps, fighting for my rights, he would have beaten to death. Then
Hmm.
again the caste thing comes in place,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
all those girls belongs from that higher strata,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
higher caste. So that was interesting. But because I that was interesting for me, because I was expecting I'll be asked more of subject
Subject
specific, but I
specific.
wasn't
Ha.
prepared.
Ha. Ha.
So I tried myself try to stretch it more, okay, than giving them more perspective,
Okay.
about Haryana,
Okay.
how like you know honor killing is a reality in Haryana, things like so. So it was more of a general knowledge kind of thing, and I'm thankful to the teacher. Like she started with that because of her only. I think I'm in TISS today.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten into TISS. So it was
Uh,
more of
uh,
a GK thing happened,
uh,
and yes, then I got into TISS.
uh.
So and I was a sports person. So
Hmm.
I was more into sports. Used to play football, inter college level footballs and everything, organizing this thing. So I was more into that, and never this political identity I am today. I wasn't
Okay.
there.
Uh,
That wasn't there at that time. So I was looking for the opportunities in sports, but unfortunately there is no ground here and
uh,
everything. And
uh,
I was like, what could be done instead of that? Then that way I got this thing, cultural representative thing, and every class needs to have these cultural representative, literary and sports, everything. So the cultural was the most suitable because I was told you don't have to do anything. You just have
okay.
to organize
Uh,
two events. Not
uh,
even organize. You just have to be a kind of volunteer in that,
Quality.
and you will get a certificate for that. I was like, wow,
Uh,
what could
uh,
be better than this?
uh, uh.
And then I was like, let's give it a shot.
So that was your first introduction to politics. Like you thought, okay, this will be something.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just go stand and then people would elect. But then there is other person also who's
Yeah,
also,
yeah, but at
you
a
know,
small scale, okay, like
ha
in
ha
front of like 30 girls, like we have to speak for like 2 to 3 minutes. But
ha
the pressure was so high for one day. Like
ha
a day before, I was like so anxious and telling my friend, yeah, what is this speech thing? She will say everything. She has like classical
ha
experience, this and that. What will I do? How will people vote for me? So we came up with the idea. Let's text everyone personally, our classmates. They just show them the motivation that you really want to be there
ha
and why
ha
you want
ha.
to be there. So at that time I texted each and every girl from my class, told them I want to stand for culture, and I have this experience of organizing things and everything. And for class, we can do I can bring different stuff for class, like cultural events, like jamming session for them, or a stress relieving session, because our course is acting all sort of that. So in my speech, I used that thing.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
okay.
think that's
Ha,
make the
ha.
difference at
And
that
also
time.
that aspect that you said that having that motivation to do something. Often
Yeah.
sometimes are they are interested in that space etc. But they are not motivated enough to help others.
Hmm.
I think so. That is where you kind of probably won the hearts of people. Now you are this girl who didn't never thought you'd become the cultural rep for your class, and then you became.
Yeah.
But then how does it go from there to organizing a BDSM workshop in quintessence? This is complete polar opposite things. There must have a lot of things that have happened.
Yeah.
So tell us about what were those things which built up to these things, and I do want to explore what was the rationale and the circumstances behind choosing that workshop etc. and all. I want to explore like why did you choose that workshop? What was the reason? Like there is this perception that it
Hmm.
was very willingly chosen that for just
Yeah.
wanted to make things controversial. Was that your intention to make it controversial? That's
So
why you chose it, or why was it chosen actually?
So our intention was never to make it anything controversial. So it was always to cater people and to create more awareness about it,
Okay.
because BDSM is something like, even we have been called like it's kind of rape culture. We have been
Ha,
told on our
ha, ha,
faces, and Facebook posts have been
ha,
put up
ha.
for this workshop. But that was the motive, right? We need to change our perception. It's not what you see on the TV, what you see in 50 Shades of Grey. It's different. It's much more than that. Like it's completely different, and that needs to be explored. And that was the only sole motive to bring different stuff and different workshops, right? For example, although we say we have a culture in this, but to be honest, there is no culture. For example, uh, there are no initiatives for even small things. Like when we talk about culture, like everything is culture. I want to do start with small things. Like before going to BDSM, also we want to do this coffee making workshop, or coffee art and everything. Like everything is culture, right? We talk about like culture,
Even
and
that was
culture
a
can't be completed without food. Food plays an important role in our culture, and like having workshops on food only, or different exploring different cuisines is a difficult thing, because the admin or the college doesn't allow the food items to be carried
ha, ha,
inside the
ha,
college.
ha.
So
That is
these are
always
the
the point
basic
of
things.
contention,
And
right?
going to BDSM is again a big thing. Like because again people were criticizing it's an elite concept, it's not made for us, it's a western thing, and they have this set meaning of BDSM, like what they see in movies or how it has been shown, or oppression of women and things like that. So we were like, no, no, it's not that. You come and explore that. The sole motive was to create awareness and open, unfold their perspectives. That was the thing, and
But I
never
think
to make a
that was
controversy out of it.
quite a hit, if I know, because a lot
Yeah,
of people did come,
yeah.
despite the people being very vocal about not having that event, etc. No?
Hmm.
As far as I remember, a lot of people did turn
Yeah,
up,
it
right?
was a full house
House.
thing. It was a full house thing for us,
Uh,
and we were like really surprised and amazed, and the outcome was really nice. Like the
and this is the
turnout was
hypocritical thing that we see.
true.
People say something else at the back, but on the front they are something different.
Yeah,
Till it came to the campus, they were like, no, 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 we want that, etc. But now that it's on the campus, you want to check it out.
and the funny
You know?
thing is, like, we have been to both of the things. They say it on our back,
Huh.
behind our back, and on our face too. So I have the experience of both. So,
Huh.
so that's different. A nice thing happened.
So now I want you to talk about that scene of you standing there and giving your speech, and
Okay.
also tell us about what happened afterwards.
In the auditorium, like in the convention center, was a complete different. Although I was feeling like an anxiety patient at the podium. Okay, my one of my leg was shaking, and still my upper half was like very
Thankfully,
confident.
that place you have the podium, no?
Yeah,
Like you can hide a
exactly,
lot of yourself.
exactly. That's I'm thankful to that podium. Like my lower body was shaking and the upper body was like being confident, and I draped a
It's
sari
not
that day, and yeah, again this
it's not easy
it's
being a
not
stand.
easy. I tell you, it's not easy. Like in front of like 1,500 approximately, and I was so difficult. Like I was trying to try to show my confidence and my motivation through banging the podium after one line. Okay, I want to do it. I want to show that
With the down part, your leg is shaking, but on
Yeah.
the top, you're banging your
Yeah, so
hand.
I was trying to balance that thing, okay, and it helped also. It helped also. Then I was done with my speech, and a lot of naras like Nari Shakti, long live feminism, and other thing happened, and everyone was so happy and applauding me. I was so happy, but just after my speech, like we were given like 5 minutes for like three questions needs to be asked. So a girl stood up and asked, like she didn't understand anything. I was like, ah.
I
Inner me
think it
was
became
like,
very controversial just
yeah,
after your speech,
yeah.
right? It was
I inner me was like,
like,
yeah. I was then I was she was because the speech was in Hindi, okay, and she was like, I'm from Northeast, and I didn't understand whatever you said. I was like, okay, the all the applause and this Nara Bazi went into vain for a minute. I was like, okay. So before I was about to answer her, the EC came into scene, and they were like a lot of for 10 minutes. A lot of things happened
things
within those
happened. Yeah,
10 minutes.
I think there was one guy who stood up and said, if you translate it to Hindi, you should translate it to
Yeah,
Malayalam.
exactly.
Every language,
But
and
but
then all
to
of
be
these things
honest,
happen.
like I was enjoying it. Like, okay, you guys do it within you, and when you are done, you
I am
come back
getting,
to
I am getting
you.
some time to,
Yeah,
cool
you come
myself
back.
down.
So at those 10 minutes were like really a fun time for me on the stage, which I never expected. So I was having water, and the guy you're talking about who took my stand, no. So I was applauding for him on the stage
Oh.
from the stage. So it's like okay, but it was fun. And then after that speech also, like people came to me, they were like really applauding me, like they were appreciating me, like you were very bold on the stage, you dealt it very well. They were telling their experience at the speech, like they were discussing when this language ka question happened, so they were discussing how is she gonna deal with it now. So they were keeping their fingers crossed, ab kya bolegi, identity hai, ab kya bolegi.
People like watching that drama now.
Yeah, yeah, and then they were
Like
like,
you are there, guinea pig, and
huh.
they want to see you go through all of that trouble.
Yeah, yeah. So they were, and then the way I dealt it, they really liked it, and they came to me personally. They congratulated me for my speech and everything. So that also led to increasing my confidence, and the things which has happened to me, and the way I try to bring through my speech, it's kind of worth it for me. So ab wo thoda the pain has lessened because of the appreciation, and because I was able to spread my message, or tell them my part. So
So tell us that election night. the result and how it affected you eventually. Yeah. So,
Yeah, so during although the speech and the campaigning, everything went very well for me as compared to my opponent, and it has its own, story also, like how my manifesto has been got stolen by the opponent, but I didn't say anything. I waited for the speech and everything. Okay, that much was fine, but during
but
the
then,
election
like
day
when
also.
the election results came out, like what happened? Like
Okay, yeah.
how did you
So
deal with
before
it? Uh,
before telling you that, I will tell you the whole day ka experience, because it was completely a political thing. So somewhere a lot of alliances and everything happened, and like my vote bank shifted to other side. So the results came and I lost, and everyone was very shocked. So I was the one who wasn't shocked, to be honest. Like I was
oh,
sad. I was because I knew it. As I told you, the
huh,
political calculations I've already made,
huh, huh,
and but still, I I met everyone very gracefully. I hugged my opponent like I think thrice, and he said, I think he said words like we have to work together in the same. I was like, yeah, yeah, okay, fine.
huh,
But we were very happy for the president's
hmm,
seat. He's a very good friend of mine. I was like literally happy from my heart for him. So we celebrated for him like half an hour. We do this uh, running from old to new thing, campaign, like kind of, applauding him, doing everything. So I literally enjoyed that, and I was like very gracefully saying everyone. People were coming to me. They were kind of, telling me it's okay, you give your best, and somewhere I didn't want to listen that also. It
huh,
was going over my head. It's like okay,
okay,
because I don't need that. It was feeling like a sympathy or
huh,
for
huh,
me.
huh,
If it would have been an empathetic way,
huh,
it would have been better. But like I was like okay, it was like a formality kind of thing. Even if they are doing from their heart, but at that moment I was feeling okay. I don't want to hear that. Like it's okay. I don't know. Then still I was very gracefully hugging them and telling thank you, and everything happened, and didn't cry and everything, hug people. And I thought I won't cry. Then I went back to my room, okay, and then again it was a complete discomfort in my own. And then I came outside in the corridor, sat on the sofa with my phone, and again the tears starts rolling, and all sorts of feelings came in. Then I was, questioning everything.
so all
For
that you had bottled started
yeah,
opening that moment in
yeah,
your
so I was
personality.
questioning myself like people knew it very well. I'm the deserving one. My speech was a great hit, kind of thing. My campaigning was a hit, everything, and people knew it. But still, because of this, some kind of dirty politics and this alliance or whatever, they chose the other person while so I was like questioning myself, and then I was like the thing which I want to somewhere I was realized doing that like it won't be the same the kind of culture or the kind of events we you know did last year. It won't be carried forward now. Like I was like hooping, and I was like very sure about I will carry that thing further, but now it won't go further. It's like a dream has been
Squashed.
squashed kind of thing. And I was like I was feeling so helpless at that moment. Tears started rolling, and then I was feeling responsible for all other people who were in support of
Support
me,
of
like
you.
like
You felt like you had let them down
we let
somewhere.
them down kind of feeling. Then I called up my friend, the same friend
Uh,
I've been talking about. So
uh,
I called him up, I crying. I was saying him sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't take it further. It's broken. Everything is over. I tried, but it didn't happen. It was like very emotional. And then again, he was trying to comfort me, like he is the mental support for me. Okay, so he's like trying to comfort me. It's not your fault. You did your best, and you already knew it. This could have happened. That's a big sin, and you did it gracefully. This and that, and this is not an the vote account which you have got. You have to work for those people, and most of the like he kind of give me logical work we did on autonomous. You have to carry forward that because that person won't do it for you, and why he or she should do it for you. Things like that. I was like, okay. So it was like very emotional for me. I cried. I felt so helpless.
so this,
I literally felt like taking a break from myself at that time, but I don't know
okay,
how. I was like,
okay,
so it was like when I started crying, no, it was not only for election. It felt like I'm crying for everything. Like the grief,
Okay.
the grief of
Uh,
years back. It's like it
so
was
all
coming
that
all
you
together.
wanted to distract yourself and take yourself away from, all of this again has come again
Yeah,
together.
come again together. And there was, although there was a mental support on phone at that time but no physical, I want to just cry down like anything at that time, not because of the election, as you have understood, like it's coming all
Uh,
together the
uh,
previous. I just want to hug or cry like anything. And then again, then this um, girl was passing when I was on my phone. She saw me crying, so she was like, "Ha!" She was crying because of elections. Then she kind of holded my hands and she was like, "I'm there for you, and we know you for this and that." Like she tried. So I was like, "Yeah, okay, thank you." For a 2 minutes, that was comforting again. Like she literally hold my hand, so that again kind of assuring me. So then I realized like I need that physical presence also right now, someone next to me, someone's shoulder, but it's okay. So that happened, and that was completely different for me. Like that night, I was like really affected. I was like questioning everything.
and a
But
lot of people don't see this side of things. They are always seeing what is happening on the stage, etc., how good things are for you
yeah,
or you this
exactly.
person, etc., and all. But there is this other side also which very few people know.
Yeah,
You know, it's always not a cakewalk. It is
kickball.
always not happy smiles and good
Hmm.
photographs and all of that,
Exactly.
right?
The next day also, then I was fine. Like I woke up very gracefully and I decided, like I made my mind. It's okay. It's all about it's everything was about numbers and everything. And I have to, instead of crying, I have to look for the way how things can be, put in its place independently. So I've kind of start working on my independent projects kind of thing. How what can be done independently and everything. So I'm working on that right now, and after that I'm still date I'm socializing with people. Like people are literally coming to me, talking to me regarding the election thing. I'm like, it's okay, elections are done, and it feels good. Those people comes to me, and then when they say, for us, you are the cultural secretary. So it
Okay,
doesn't
okay.
matter like where the post goes. So that's again kind of motivating, because somewhere I also know I'll be doing my project. I'll be needing their support. These are the constant people. These are the 540 people who voted for me, and I have to work for them. And again, so that's kind of keeping me going. So that's the thing.
Well, I think we've been quite a ride, and it's been quite some time now.
Yeah.
And I think your story will not stop here. Will keep
I hope
continue.
so. Yeah, I'm
And
assuming people will push me into something,
something
and
new,
I have
they,
to take the lead.
then you take the lead. But
Yeah.
it was glad to listen to your story. And I think people who listen to this story, some people might resonate with what you have done.
Hmm.
And instead of just making a judgment, they just see you as some person who
Hmm.
is ready to test against all odds,
Yeah.
and then try to make sense of how things are and take a bold step and experiment with various things and see how things work out. I hope people see it in that perspective, and
Hmm.
and more people come and share their own stories with you, and you be comforting, and
Yeah.
you be that person who is physically present and
Hope
comforting to
so.
such
Yeah. Yeah.
people. you know
Hmm.
I hope that happens. On this, I think so. We have spoken enough, and let's end the podcast
Yeah.
there.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
And
pleasure talking to you and sharing my feelings. And I think this was really needed at this moment.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
And for those of you who I don't know who's going to hear this podcast, do let us know. This is an experiment that we are trying. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but with your help and with your support, we hope it becomes something that is impactful and helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah. It will.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.